This is Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the San Gabriel Valley today, and we are joined by Jack Hadjinian. He is the mayor of the city of Montebello. He is running for re-election. That election will be held in November. I want to speak with you about the election. I've spoken with some folks in Montebello, and apparently the election in some quarters is getting mired in kind of ethnic politics. You are of Armenian descent. The city has a large Latino community. Talk to me most broadly about the challenges that presents when a candidate is faced with those types of statements.
Well, for one, I don't play the race card. I'm a proud American Armenian or an Armenian American.
Right.
But I'm also a proud American.
Right.
And as elected, I represent everybody in my city.
Right.
I have never made it a point to cater to one group or a certain demographic. That wouldn't be responsible on my part.
Right.
I serve everybody, and so if a challenger in this election wants to play the race card, that's a desperate attempt to get themselves elected.
It's interesting because since the election of Barack Obama to the presidency, there's been this notion that we are living in a post-racial America. But some academics would argue otherwise. It does seem as if we continue to see ourselves based upon our ethnicity, whatever that may be. But then you can point to certain elections, at least in California, and it suggests that maybe in California we are post-racial. Someone like Chris Holden, an African-American who represents a very Anglo area, or folks who may represent parts of South Los Angeles that had been very African-American, now substantially Latino.
Yeah.
What's your sense of this notion that we do or do not live in a post-racial America?
I would hope that we live in a post-racial America. However, I feel that we still live in a racial America. And if you want to use Barack Obama as an example, I think that many people voted for him because he was black, and then others voted for him because they thought he was a good decision maker. So, you have that, and that happened in my election too, where people said, "Oh, you're an Armenian, I'm going to vote for you," and it wasn't necessarily an Armenian who said that. It could have been a Latino who said, I think we want something different on the council.
I understand.
And I tell people, don't vote for me or support me because I'm Armenian or I'm Latino or I'm Asian.
Right.
Vote for me because you feel that I'm going to be a good decision maker.
Another challenge that you face, and everyone faces who's running in Montebello, is you all run at large.
Yes.
That means that there are no districts, and so you are having to serve at the will and the desires of everyone.
Yeah.
Which may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing. That's another conversation. How do you appeal? How do you get your message out to 70,000 residents in an off-year election when you're running at large?
Well, when you're an at-large district or a seat, and you represent the entire city, people in different parts of the city have different issues of concern to them, right? And so on the north side, it might be, open space, let's say. On the middle of the city, it might be traffic. And on the south side, it might be a shortage of, shops and restaurants or a grocery store. So those are, there's different issues, and the issues are isolated to certain parts of the city.
But do you find, at least in Montebello, that people from the same community tend to get elected? Or is there nice geographic representation?
I wouldn't say in our case we have nice geographic representation, because I'm the only council member who lives on the west side of the city.
Interesting.
And then we have one other councilwoman who lives on the north side of the city, and then everybody else lives on the south side of the city, the other three.
I want to get a sense from you how your involvement in regional issues plays. I would think that many residents appreciate your involvement. You are involved in ACE, which is the Alameda Corridor Project Authority. You're involved in the Gold Line, I believe.
I'm the chair of ACE, which is the Alameda Corridor East Construction Authority. So we're basically responsible for everything east of Alameda.
Right.
And so we have grade separation projects in the San Gabriel Valley.
I remember you had the one near the Mission. It was kind of an exciting
yes,
one. And they
that's
found
lowering
right.
the track there.
And they found actually some artifacts.
They did.
When they went through that.
They found human remains
right.
of a Native American.
Right.
And so we're going to preserve that.
Of course. But then some other interesting elements. I interviewed some
folks. The mill race.
Yeah.
So I'm the chairman of that. We do Great Separation projects.
Sure. Something
very important where we essentially are preventing cars and trains from crossing.
That would be bad.
Yeah, that would be bad. They don't really mix well.
No.
And then also with the Gold Line extension, my city is a member of the 60 Coalition.
Yes.
Which is one of the 2 alternatives that's been proposed by Metro.
Would this be phase 3 of the Gold Line? Phase 2B, I guess, numbers?
It'd be phase 2.
Okay.
I believe it's phase 2.
Okay.
And so this is the east side extension.
Oh, I see. Okay, right.
There's a foothill and the east side.
This is not the foothill.
Yeah.
I understand. Thank you.
So on the east side, you have 2 alternatives. One is that it would run essentially through Montebello, Pico Rivera, eventually to the Whittier Presbyterian Hospital.
Nice.
And then the other would be it run down the 60 freeway. So they both have their pros and cons. My city took a position on the 60 alignment. My only.
So in favor of the freeway, or
yes,
in favor of going through
of the freeway?
Interesting.
And my concern is that the way it's designed, it's more of a park and ride.
I see.
60, where I'm still want to make sure that people can walk to it.
Right.
That's just the concern I have. And then of course, with the other alternative is there's some impacts with tearing up our streets.
Right.
And the short-term effects.
Like you said, the flip side is accessibility. I live near what's going to be the new Expo line, or the extension of the Expo line, and we can walk to it, which is fantastic.
Well, that's what public transportation is about. It's about preventing people from driving with cars.
But there's no parking lot, so that's another, pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
So, but let me ask you though, since you are and have been a regional player, how does that play? There are some folks, I'll just use a national example. Eric Cantor, remember he was a leader in the House of Representatives, a Republican. He was voted out in large part because people saw him as being too involved in kind of regional national politics and not paying attention to home. Are you getting that, or are people saying, no, this is good that Jack's involved?
I don't see that in my case because, I have a lot of contacts on the state and on the county level. And I use that to my benefit for my community.
Right, for Montebello.
Right. And because I have these relationships, and you've got to nurture these relationships.
Of course.
And what happens is because you have these relationships, you're able to have more face time with these representatives.
Right.
And basically explain to them what the concerns are of the community.
What are the concerns? What are you hearing? You're walking, you're talking. What are people saying to you?
Well, the biggest concern people have right now is the condition of our streets. And I'm proud that when I got elected, I formed a committee to address this issue very aggressively. And I'm proud that what we've done is we've done some tax exchanges with neighboring cities, and I've unrestricted money so I can pave neighborhood streets.
I see.
It's perfectly legal.
Right.
There's a little cost associated with this exchange. But what it's done is it's allowed us to put more resources out in the community without putting a damper on the general fund.
Are your residents at all aware of the special session going on in Sacramento and whether there should be an increase in the gas tax or vehicles?
For the most part, they're not. Right. They're not very well informed of that. And I think I feel that our state legislators should actually be doing a little more in terms of advertising these issues that are taking place.
There you have it. Yeah. Okay, his name is Jack Hadjinian, and he is currently a member of the Montebello City Council. He is serving as the mayor. He is running for re-election. That election will be held on November 3rd. My name is Brad Pomerance. We are coming to you from the San Gabriel Valley, and you are watching Charter Local Edition.